Hey Rev Circle friends, I want to discuss with you another potentially controversial, sticky subject, but that's why we're here, right? We're here to be challenged with the way that we think. That's the value of this community that we have, right? And to say, all right, is it possible that I should do it a different way? I was talking with the head of marketing of a billion-dollar SaaS organization recently, and here's what he said. Plain and simple. Our buyers no longer want to do demos. They want video on demand. Now, you might be hearing this and say, well, I'm not a SaaS company, Marcus. Yeah, but it still applies. Stay with me, please. If you're a SaaS company, you might already be thinking, but he doesn't understand my buyer, my sales process. To understand buyers, we have to look in the mirror ourselves. And we've got to really be in touch with the golden rule. In other words, one of the best ways that we can understand how to sell better in the digital age is to ask ourselves, what would I want in this situation? So when it comes to a product like SaaS, would we prefer that we have to fill out a form and set up a meeting and have a demo on their terms first? Or would we prefer first to have a video on demand? We can watch it in our own time, our own confines, without any constraints. And of course the answer is going to be we'd rather do it on demand. Now it takes a lot for a leader to recognize this as that's what we need. What's interesting about this, though, is the companies that we've seen that have done more video on demand and that have said, okay, how can we replicate that demo experience while not taking away the value of our sales team? It's amazing the results, because oftentimes what happens is they end up getting more, not less qualified leads. And of course, that's what we're talking about. Qualified leads. That's what matters. And this is what we see over and over again. When we lean into what the buyer wants and we create great video that addresses their very specific questions. And by the way, we can't always answer every single question, but we can allow it to address their questions, and they can consume it almost like a choose your own adventure book. You remember those books? They can consume the videos in that regard and learn what they really need to learn. We know the results are positive. We also know many SaaS companies and other B2B companies are pushing back on this type of model. Why? Because we feel like we're losing control. But this goes against the previous lesson that we talked about, which is 33% of all buyers say they would prefer to have a seller-free sales experience. Again, this doesn't mean we don't like salespeople. It just means that we don't want to talk to a salesperson until we feel like we're good and ready to talk to a salesperson, until we feel like we're informed. That's the key. That's what the marketplace wants. Question is, are you able to give it to them? Yes, you are. Then will you give it to them? That's the question. Because if we're being really honest, do you think we're going to be doing straight demos like we are today in 10 years? Do you think we're going to force someone to schedule time to watch essentially something that they could have seen on demand? It just goes against every fiber of my being, and I'm sure yours too. And so we've got to be willing to find, what is that happy medium? We've got to give control to the buyer so as to receive more actual control in terms of our success, our longevity, and the ability to adjust to the marketplace. That particular CMO that I talked to at the beginning of this, that I mentioned, he saw the vision. He recognized the reality for what it was. They want to dictate the terms. The question is, are you willing to give them the ability to dictate those terms? If you do it, not only are you going to see more MQLs and SQLs, your sales team is going to benefit, you're going to have better sales conversations, and you're going to streamline that sales process. Everybody wins. And my friends, that's what it's all about.